Hello and welcome. This is Eagle Eye 621, and today we're going to be building this simple tree farm that you see behind me. This tree farm is afk'able and is rather quick to set up. It's not a whole lot of components here. So I'm going to show you the materials you need to build it. I'll do a quick build tutorial followed by an explanation as to how it works and then demonstrate it. And I will end by showing you the rates as well as talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages of a compact design like this. So if you do like this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And let's start with the materials. And the materials that we're going to need to build this, you can see on the left as I'm dragging my cursor over. Now the hopper and the lever are optional. I'll show you what that is, and some of these blocks are going to be interchangeable. You're going to want to have an efficiency 5 axe. It doesn't have to be a perfect axe, and I'll throw an iCard for perfect tools in the corner. You are going to want to have some temporary blocks, and the number 7 there is important. And the tree types this will work with are birch, oak, and jungle. I do recommend against the jungle, but it does work with jungle if you need. You're going to need a tremendous amount of bone meal, and the output from this farm are the stripped varieties. You may very occasionally get a non-stripped version, but the overwhelming majority are going to be the stripped. So let's show you how to build this. And first, this is the footprint. The white outline, everything will fit inside of, so you could make this a wall if you want. And I just have the materials here without the extras. So let's get those into the inventory and start on this green block to make sure everything's centered with a solid block. You're going to want to have your dirt block 3 up so that when you're standing here, you're facing directly into the dirt. We can place our trapdoor on top of that block, and then we can start by adding our observer facing down next to the dirt block, and then an observer facing up into that observer. So you can hear we made a little bit of a clock, and we're going to turn that clock off by putting our sticky piston touching that observer. We're going to add another full block and put our lever and activate that to turn this off. This will act as a manual override switch. We can take our dispenser out and put it on top of the output of that observer facing over the dirt block. Then we can add a top half slab. You can replace these half slabs for solid blocks if you want. Then we're going to put a solid block, a full block, and then we're going to go down 1. So let's grab a temporary block and then come out 3 and erase that. Now we can start putting some of our redstone down as well, and you're going to want to have a comparator taking a reading over this dirt block, and then we're going to have some dust over here followed by a repeater facing in that direction, and from that we can now add some dust, and we're going to put a couple more half slabs. These are top half slabs going over, and we're going to put our second repeater facing in that direction. Both of these are on the original 1 tick, and we can slap down some over this redstone dust, and then we're going to want to take our half slabs and go out another 3 on both sides, and we're going to point our comparators like this, and then we're going to come around and point them in that direction, and we're going to connect those with the redstone dust. And now we can take out our temporary blocks again, and the reason that we wanted 7 is on purpose because you want to go 7 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on top of that we're going to place a full block, and then we can erase these, and we can now add our hopper to the back of this to the back of this dispenser. And then I'm going to come over here to borrow some of this bone meal, as well as a log to demonstrate. So you're going to want to fill this to the brim with bone meal as well as the hopper. And this is already your completed build. So now let me explain to you how this works. So normally this machine is in the on position when we don't have the manual override, and you can hear the clicking of this dispenser trying to spit out bone meal onto this block, but because there is nothing here that can fast grow, you don't have to worry about it actually wasting any bone meal. What's going to happen is we're going to put a sapling down. That sapling is going to grow into a tree, and as soon as you have a full block here, this comparator is taking a signal through this block and detecting an item in here, which will power this entire circuit, and then that pushes the observer out so you can hear that the clock stopped. And what we have over here is a comparator decay clock. So you will see once I punch this block, the signal will turn off on this side, but this signal over here will take a little while to turn off. And that's because the signal is delaying through those comparators. And that's important because we want to have a little bit of extra time when we are chopping our tree. So what we have is a tree grows, the clock turns off so we don't risk accidentally growing a tree too fast. We have time to chop down that tree, and then when we're done chopping, the signal decays all the way. That pulls this observer back in, which starts this again, and it will spit bone meal out onto the tree. So what that looks like is tree grows, then we can chop, 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 and then we wait, and we have another tree. Same thing, grows, chop, 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 and then we wait, and we have another tree. So now let's demonstrate this in action. And for that, I am going to need to come over here and grab some oak to start with. As I said, it does work with all these three. Recommend you do these top two. And then we'll also get an axe. We're going to start by throwing a tree down, which you will see will grow. Now we're going to do this in survival mode, of course. And what you're going to want to do is put these saplings in your offhand. Now there's a little hotkey. If you press F, it'll switch back and forth between your hands. And the way that this works is we're going to belly up as close to the dirt as we can. We're going to get our axe ready, and we're going to want to aim right at the edge between these two blocks. So as close as you can get to that edge, we're going to hold down the right click, and then we're going to hold down the left click while we are still holding down the right click. And as you can see, we're chopping wood, and as soon as that first tree, that first log is chopped, we do plant another sapling in order to make this work. And now we can AFK here, and we can do our little trick where we press F3 and T, which I'll do after we chop down the next one. And then you can walk away, but you can't walk away for too long because this will only work so long as we do have those saplings in our left hand. So you can walk away for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then come back and you will get your wood. Now I'm going to stop this by clicking a bunch of buttons so that that stops. And then once this is done, you do want to walk around and collect any wood that might have fallen off to the side. And you also do want to pillar up to the top of the tree to get any wood that may have been trapped up here as well. And I like to just destroy this tree on my way out to make sure that I get all I need. And then when you're done, you can chop your way back down to the bottom with your wood. So now let's talk about the rates from this farm. Let's get rid of these items so we don't have any cross-contamination. And you can see over here the rates that we get from the various different types of wood, starting with the oak. This is what you should expect from a full stack of saplings. Now you will notice that there are some normal oak logs here. The overwhelming majority are the stripped. I did mention that this was a possibility, and this happens if you have some desyncing where you can grow a tree while you're still chopping some wood down. This is rather rare in all my testings. This only happened the one time and only with the oak, although I don't think it's particularly special because of the oak. It just happened to happen there. This is what you get from the birch, and as you can see, it is a little bit more than you get from your oak, and that's because these birch trees typically do grow one taller than the oak can. And then on the jungle side, you can see it's a little bit less, and that's for the same reason. Now, in terms of operating this farm, do be aware that your oak trees will typically not go through all the bone meal that you have just in this dispenser, whereas your birch trees are typically going to require all of this bone meal and some of this bone meal, and your jungle trees, which is why I don't recommend using this, will sometimes go through all of the bone meal in both and still not be done. Now you can add some extra hoppers if you want in order to add more bone meal for that, but that's your choice as to what you want to use it for. I would recommend either the birch or the oak. So what are the benefits and drawbacks of a design like this? Well, the obvious benefit, it is extraordinarily compact and easy and very simple to set up. You'll get about a stack of the stripped wood per minute, and that wood you can then turn into all the other wood products that you would make and that you would need the wood for. You can use this to get the non-stripped variety, but it's a little bit more of a manual process where you're going to have to stand here and manually mine this by holding down left. As soon as this is taken away, you're going to click on the right click in order to plant that sapling. And I can demonstrate what that means. So let's go back over here to our setup here, and we'll go back into our survival mode. And you want to put your saplings in your offhand again. You're going to chop with your left, and then right click twice and chop again. And as you can see, we do get our normal logs. We get one of the stripped variety, but you can use this design in order to get the normal logs if that is what you're looking for, but it's not as efficient as the AFK setup. The downside to this is it does have a deficit in terms of the saplings. This is not one of the larger, fancier farms that's going to use double piston extenders or TNT to blow up the leaves and then feed you back those saplings for a much longer AFK setup. This is more of a supplement to your manual or your normal tree farms, which do create quite a surplus of those in order to fast grow a stack's worth at a time. So you can AFK, as I said, for a couple of minutes. You can come back and then have those stacks as you need. So this is a good earlier tree farm to make, or if you don't like TNT, if double piston extend makes you nervous, it only has one piston in the entire contraption. Now, if you found this video helpful, I would appreciate a like, and for more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for stopping by.